Bare feet hit sun-baked wood, and a 9-year-old girl named Nora launches herself off a dock, exploding into the cool water of a summer lake. In these moments, a child operates on a psychological default we can call passive joy. It is the quiet, unspoken assumption that safe, happy environments will repeat themselves every year, without any effort required. Whether she is catching fireflies in a glass jar at dusk or reeling weeds from a dock, Nora moves through a world where tomorrow is guaranteed. The supply of summer days feels endless. This state of passive joy is beautiful, but it relies entirely on a fragile illusion, the idea that time is infinite and the house will always be there. Inside the house, away from the splashing, the adults carry a completely different reality. This is the family's final summer at the lake house, before the property is handed over to a new owner. The legal reality sits quietly on the kitchen counter. A notice of sale document waits for a signature, acting as a heavy contrast to the carefree world continuing right outside the window. For Nora's father, the impending sale brings a weight of anticipatory grief. He is so occupied with the end of the season that he is mentally absent from the present. Two completely different timelines are occupying the exact same space. A child's belief in forever is hurtling directly toward the adult reality of a closing date. That collision happens late at night. Waking up for a glass of water, Nora overhears her father and grandmother talking on the porch. She catches fragments of the conversation and hears the words, "the last one." The shock of that discovery is immediate. Her comforting belief in endless, repeating summers suddenly vanishes, replaced by the stark realization that her time at the lake has a hard, unavoidable endpoint. The immediate result is a complete loss of momentum. The morning after overhearing the adults, Nora sits alone at the end of the dock at sunrise. Her energetic motion from yesterday is gone, replaced by a heavy stillness. Realizing that a cherished experience has an expiration date often leads to a period of paralysis. We start to mourn the loss before the house is even packed, losing the time we actually have left. Grandma Ruth breaks this paralysis by walking out to the dock and sitting down beside her. She doesn't offer false hope or pretend the sale isn't happening. Instead, she challenges the idea that the house is what actually matters. She points out that we often mistakenly equate a physical place with the feeling of security it provides. On one side of the scale are physical assets, like property deeds and floorboards. These are temporary. They belong to whoever holds the paperwork. But on the other side are experiential assets, internal lessons and shared laughter. These are permanent and cannot be sold. By understanding this, Nora can begin to transfer her memories from the external environment to her internal self. She isn't losing the summer, she is just changing where she keeps it. The deed to the land will eventually belong to someone else, but the life lived on that land is a possession that stays with the person who lived it. This realization shifts the family into a new mode, intentional presence. Because they know their time is finite, they stop waiting for the fun to happen and start creating it on purpose. This act of memory-making shows up in small, deliberate acts, like Nora and Grandma carefully stirring, jarring their peach jam and labeling them together. We see it when Nora's father finally stops worrying about the sale and jumps fully clothed off the dock to join a water fight. By letting go of his anxiety about August, he is finally able to actually be there in July. Knowing when something ends doesn't have to spoil the experience. Often, that boundary is what finally forces us to stop watching the clock and start seeing what's right in front of us. At sunset, the family sits together on the porch. They are tired and quiet, having spent every bit of energy the day had to offer. The freshly sealed jars of jam sit on the railing, glowing in the light, right next to the for sale sign. The sign represents the loss of the house, but the jars represent the memories they're taking with them. Holding a jar to the light, Nora realizes the house was just the container. She is the one who gets to keep the contents. The sale will go through and the family will leave, but they aren't leaving empty-handed. By accepting that this summer had a limit, they stopped trying to save it and finally started spending it. One intentional season was enough to last a lifetime.